Have you ever lived in a house where things were constantly breaking down? Maybe the dishwasher stops working, then the air conditioning goes out. Then you notice the roof is starting to leak. Your parents keep saying they'll fix everything, but somehow there's always another problem, and the repair bills keep piling up faster than they can handle them. Now imagine this happening not just to your house, but to an entire civilization. What if the very complexity that we celebrate as progress actually makes societies more fragile, not more resilient? That's the startling possibility suggested by John Michael Greer's theory of catabolic collapse. Greer, writing in the early 2000s, looked around at American society and saw something very different from inevitable progress. He observed that human societies consistently tend to produce more infrastructure than they can afford to maintain. Let's think about this with a simple example. Greer uses the metaphor of home ownership. When you first buy a house, everything works perfectly. You're so excited about having your own place that you start making improvements. Maybe you add a deck, install a pool, upgrade the kitchen, landscape the yard. Each project makes the house nicer, but it also creates more things that need regular upkeep. Fast forward 20 years. The deck needs staining every few years. The pool needs new equipment and constant chemical maintenance. The fancy kitchen appliances are breaking down, and the landscaping requires ongoing care. Suddenly, you're spending more on maintenance than you can afford, and you start letting things slide. The deck starts rotting. The pool turns green. Appliances break and don't get replaced. Now multiply this by an entire civilization. During prosperous times, societies build amazing things. Massive road networks, complex electrical grids, elaborate university systems, sophisticated military technologies. Each generation builds on what the previous generation created, adding new layers of complexity and capability. But here's the catch. All that infrastructure needs constant maintenance. Roads need repaving. Bridges need inspection and repair. Power plants need updating. Schools need new roofs and heating systems. When production fails to meet maintenance requirements for existing capital, societies face what Greer calls catabolic collapse. A self-reinforcing cycle of contraction that converts most capital to waste. You can see this happening right now in America. The 2017 American Society of Civil Engineers gave America's infrastructure a D+ grade. We have bridges that are literally crumbling, water systems that are failing, and power grids that can't handle extreme weather. But instead of fixing these problems, we keep building new things. More highways, more data centers, more complex systems that will need their own expensive maintenance in the future. The result? We're like the homeowner who keeps adding rooms to a house with a failing foundation. This creates a very different picture of technology and progress than Comte imagined. Instead of each innovation making life simpler and better, each new technology adds another layer of complexity that must be sustained. Your smartphone seems like a miracle device, but it depends on an incredibly complex supply chain, manufacturing infrastructure, cellular networks, and software systems that all need constant updating and maintenance. When a society can no longer afford to maintain all this complexity, things start breaking down in a cascade. The fancy systems fail first, then the basic infrastructure, than the simple things that previous generations took for granted. Notice how different this is from Comte's vision. Comte saw technology as the solution to human problems. Greer suggests that our technological solutions often become the problems that overwhelm future generations. This doesn't mean Greer thinks we should abandon technology entirely, but it does mean asking some uncomfortable questions. Are we building systems that are sustainable over generations? Or are we just pushing maintenance costs onto our children and grandchildren? When we celebrate technological innovation, are we considering who will have to keep all these innovations running 50 years from now? Consider your own life. How many apps do you have on your phone that you never use anymore? How many subscription services have you forgotten about? How many electronic devices do you own that you can't even remember how to operate? In small ways, you might already be experiencing what Greer describes: the overwhelming complexity of maintaining systems that once seemed like obvious improvements. As we continue exploring how technology shapes society, Greer's theory challenges us to think beyond the excitement of innovation to the long-term costs of complexity. It asks us whether true wisdom might sometimes mean building less, maintaining better, and choosing simplicity over sophistication. The question isn't whether we can invent amazing new technologies. Clearly we can. The question is whether we can create forms of progress that strengthen rather than burden the communities that will inherit what we build.